Hey everybody, it's Cameron. It is August 4th. I'm a month and 4 days shy of 2 years on testosterone. Um, got some hair going on. It's still not coming in all the way, but I have time. Um, my current dose is 0.75 milligrams once a week, so 150 milliliters. I hope I get that right. I always get the measurement and the strength mixed up. Um, I haven't made very many videos lately. I've had a ton of stuff going on. Um, Me and my girlfriend broke up. I lost my job. I had a relative pass away recently. It's just not been a good 6 months for me. But I have my friends. I have my family. Um, I'm making ends meet best I can. Just taking it a day at a time. I mean, it's all I really can do. It's all anyone can do. As far as changes go, I mean, really, I'm just waiting for facial hair and body hair to finish coming in. I mean, that's all I really can do at this point. Everything else, I'm pretty sure is done. I did notice, compared to when I started testosterone, my chest has certainly gotten smaller, which is fantastic. I do still bind, but it's a light compression shirt, like not super light. It does offer pretty pretty good compression, but it's not like uncomfortable compression. So that's good. That's always been a plus for me. I know a lot of guys out there that have much bigger chests than I do. I can't imagine having to try to flatten some of those out. It's insane to me. One of my best friends, who's also one of my roommates, is actually getting top surgery here in the next few days, so we're super excited about that. Kind of going to celebrate it a little bit this weekend. I'm super happy for him. He's just about as far along on testosterone as I am, maybe a few months shy. He's way hairier than me. Genetics are a bitch sometimes. But, I can definitely tell that more has come in. It did stop here for a long time, and it's slowly starting to come in, like further up on my chin. I'm getting more whiskers here and a lot more whiskers up here, but those are still really blonde. So I keep them shaved down. I don't see the point in trying to grow them out. Maybe when I have more whiskers, I'll try it and just let them grow out and see what happens. But I mean, my life's been crazy. I don't. I do have an interview tomorrow, a third interview for a company I'm really hoping to get a job with. So if I get hired there, that would be fantastic, and I'm pretty sure I would be okay at that point and not have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to keep up on these videos, especially after you hit a year. For the most part, your voice has finished changing. Your face is broadened a little bit. Your facial structure's changing a little bit. Body fat's redistributing. Stuff like that. I mean, let's be honest. The most fun things about transition is your voice and body and facial hair. So my voice is done. Now I get to wait for the body and facial hair. I wasn't very hairy at all prior to testosterone, so I have a feeling I'm not going to be crazy hairy, but I do have some chest hair. I do have some belly hair. It's light. I kind of like it like that. I don't want to be super hairy, but I do want a beard, damn it. Let's see. I mean, it's still not super thick, but it's certainly thicker, much thicker than it was 6 months ago, you know. So it's getting there. It's starting to creep over onto my cheek here some, and I'm starting to get whiskers up on this portion of my cheek. So that's awesome. Gotta wait for those to come in, see how thick it's gonna get, see how much it's gonna fill out, see what my genetics are gonna allow me to have as far as facial hair goes. I'm fairly certain I'm slowly turning into a brunette. The sides and back of my hair, I usually keep them cut pretty short anyways, but the sides and back of my hair are significantly darker than the top of my head. Top of my head is still pretty blonde, but I know my dad told me once when he hit puberty, he went from being this color blonde to this color brown. So I may end up being a brunette, and I'm fine with that. It's whatever. Got my job interview tomorrow. Crazy stuff going on in my life. I've managed to somehow barely keep my head above the water. I'm not sure how. I don't know. Friends have been very helpful during this time. So, my girlfriend and I were together almost 4 years. We broke up just before my birthday in March. Kind of came as a surprise to me, but what can you do, you know? But anyway, guys, transition-wise, not much. Little bit more facial hair, but it's nothing that's crazy. I'm going to try to not trim it. I have a bad habit of doing that once I start getting any significant length. So I'm really going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to keep it growing and see how bushy it'll actually get. I did get me some beard oil somewhere. Can't remember what I did with it right now. But it smells really good. It's called Manscaped. And it smells amazing. And apparently you can use it for tattoo oil as well. It's really good for your skin. It hydrates it. So if you're on testosterone and you're starting to get facial hair in, I know that's typically when mine started to come in, that's when my face acne was the worst. Probably because of the additional irritation of hair trying to push through and thicken out and stuff like that. Maybe suggest getting beard oil. Helps keep it your skin hydrated, which would actually help your body not produce an overance of oil, which can, again, cause more acne. Not saying it will work, because luckily for me, my face acne wasn't minimal. However, it went away pretty quick. So I'm very thankful for that aspect, because when I was a teenager, my acne was horrible. But I mean, if you guys have any questions or you want to know more, I know a long time ago, someone asked about a bathroom. And where I was working at the time, you know, it's a fairly large company, and they kind of pride themselves on diversity. So, you know, I sat down and I talked to my UM and I talked to my HR, and I kind of let them know what was going on. And they were like, okay, well, let us know when you start. And when you start, and we know, you got to tell us when you start using the other bathroom, and you can't go back and forth. Once you switch bathrooms, that's the bathroom you have to go to from then on. But, you know, nobody's going to say anything to you, and if they do, you come straight to us. So I got really lucky, at work at least. Now out in public, I'm not going to lie, it's gotten tricky a time or two. And not because I've almost been ousted, I guess. More so because I don't use STP. I hate the thought of them. I like sitting down to pee. I don't care about standing up to pee. Some people feel like they need to stand up to pee, and that's your thing. You know, there ain't nothing wrong with it. I just don't feel they need to do it. So my biggest problem has been a couple times either the bathrooms have just been disgusting, or all the stalls have been occupied. Now, I think I passed pretty well. I got really lucky in the height department. I'm almost 5'10", and I've always been really stocky. So I kind of feel like that helps masculinize me a little bit more, you know, even before testosterone. and I didn't have a huge chest before testosterone, so I feel like that helped as well. Um, so I got really lucky in a lot of aspects, but I've never encountered any issues going into a men's room. I've never had someone do a double take. I've never had someone tell me I was in the wrong bathroom. I don't really speak to people when I go to the bathroom, so my voice was never an indication of what my gender was or what they thought my gender should be. So, you just go in. You don't really have to make eye contact with anyone because that'd be weird. And you find a stall and you go and you just do your business. They're not going to know you don't have a biological or a penis because they don't pay attention to what you sound like when you're peeing. They don't care. Guys are the most unobservant gender there is. So don't even stress about that. I mean, honestly, and it's weird, I feel like trans guys don't get as much flack as trans women do. And that sucks for trans women. It really does, and I don't think it's right. However, in my experience, men care less that I am trans as an FTM than I think a lot of men would be with a trans woman. It's kind of like how a lot of guys don't care if chicks are lesbians, but gay dudes gross them out. It's kind of the same concept. Guys are freaking weird, and I don't understand them, obviously, because I have a much more open mind about a lot of things, including gender and sexual identity and things like that. So I don't really understand where people like that come from, but that seems to be the common consensus. As far as that goes, I mean, bathroom's never been a big deal to me. I was a little nervous in the beginning just because it was foreign territory, and I'd never gone in there. So it was weird. I felt like it was wrong at first, not necessarily because I still felt like a girl, but just because my whole life that had been like a no-fly zone, So it felt a little odd in the beginning, and I almost messed up a couple times. I almost went into the women's restroom out of habit several times, and I feel like that would have been devastating because I feel like I would have been chased out of there. But bathroom's not an issue. I've since the breakup, my ex-girlfriend was actually giving me my shots on the regular because I had a lot of bad back-to-back shots where I was really hurting myself, like I was hitting nerves or going through a vein, and when I pulled it out, blood would go everywhere. So I kind of gave myself like this phobia of needles, and of course she moved out, so I had to start doing them myself. First couple times took a little bit of a build up, and the more I realized, the more I built it up, the more anxious I got about actually doing it instead of just doing it. And I've also realized that you don't have to go fast for it not to hurt. You can just ease it in. As long as you're not in the way of any nerves or anything like that, you're good. I've also noticed that the more on top of your thigh that you are, the less likely you are to hit a vein or a nerve. The more off to the side you are, the more likely you're going to hit a nerve. So I would almost advise to do the top of your thigh as opposed to slightly off to the side, because every time I do it slightly off to the side, I end up hurting myself. So that's just a little bit of advice from me anyways. I'm sure everyone's different. Everyone has a sweet spot, and whatever that is, if it works for you, go for it. Let's see. Pain tolerance. I've heard a lot of people say that pain tolerance changes because men actually have a lower pain tolerance than women do. I can't say if that's true or not true. However, I got my entire thigh tattooed 4 months ago, and I've never had my thigh tattooed, so I can't really compare it one to the other, but in my experience, it wasn't worse than any other tattoo. It was completely tolerable. It was 2 4-hour sessions, a couple weeks apart. So, I mean, as long as I can still get them and tolerate it, I'm happy. My shots don't hurt any more now than they did 2 years ago. I mean, as far as I'm aware, my pain tolerance really hasn't changed. I don't really know. This has ended up being a really long video, and I wasn't anticipating on it being that. So, um, if you guys have any more questions, concerns, hearsay, misconceptions, whatever, stuff you want me to clear up, research, whatever, let me know. All right, guys.